Bikebasket reads China, the Long March. Introduction. The year 1986 marks the 50th anniversary of one of the most momentous events in history, China's Long March. The 6,000-mile retreat of Mao Zedong and his colleagues from the forces of Nationalist General Chiang Kai-shek. A flight that eventually turned into victory and paved the way for the establishment of Mao Zedong as China's supreme leader for nearly 30 years. Some 86,000 people, including women and children, began the Long March. They suffered from enemy harassment, malnutrition, disease, frostbite, fatigue, at times despair, and almost every other form of human misery. Only 4,000 reached their final destination. Journalist Harrison Salisbury has called the Long March, quote, a triumph of human survival. Edgar Snow described it as an odyssey unequaled in modern times. The marchers themselves had no inkling that they were part of an event that would be as significant to 20th century China as the French Revolution was to 18th century Europe, or the Civil War to 19th century America. China, the Long March, is a unique publishing project. More than 3 years in the making, it commemorates the 50th anniversary of the Long March by combining the talents of the world's greatest photographers with the knowledge of an experienced and sensitive observer of China. At first, it seemed a dream. The problems were indeed daunting. The route of the Long March passed through some of China's most rugged and inhospitable country, through land into which few outsiders had ventured. Anthony Lawrence, who contributed the text, is particularly well versed in Asian affairs. From 1956 to 1974, he was Far East correspondent for the BBC. English-speaking listeners in many parts of the world received from his broadcasts their first news of the vital changes occurring in that turbulent region. Central to this book are the magnificent photographs taken by a group of the world's top photographers, which depict the route of the Long March. The quest for the photographs required months of detailed planning and a preparatory survey. For the actual shoot, 5 Land Rovers, specially shipped into Hong Kong, were used to convey the team to often barely accessible locations. 2 hot air balloons allowed the photographers to capture some spectacular vistas and to present the landscape from a hitherto unknown perspective. A commemorative reliving of an epoch-making trek, China, the Long March, takes its readers to the very places where history was made. This book not only tells one of the most remarkable stories of the 20th century, but also provides an extraordinary portrait of China today, 50 years after the traumatic event that shaped its history.